I'm a little bit in the Perakim, Perakim. So we learned last week the Zohar. I just want to go over the Zohar again and look at the sugya, which is really creating an inner turmoil in me. One sentence of introduction or a question. If a person davens, shachar, mincha, mariv, whatever you're davening, completely bli kavana, by rote, say all the words, no kavana at all. Does it have value or it doesn't have value? Never happens, you see. You know, you're driving down the highway and the sun's going down and it's shkia and you get out of the car and you just daven, you know, like. Is it, the whole l'chayra, the pashat pshat is that the whole mechayev of tefillah is avodah shebelev. Ezu avodah shebelev, lavdei b'chol avavchem. What's the avodah shebelev? It's a tefillah. So if you're davening without a lave, so it's very similar to shaking a lulav with a plastic lulav, l'chayra, or putting on tefillin, which are pasul. It's missing the chefza of tefillah. The chefza of tefillah is the lave. That's the keli that you use for tefillah. You're not using your hands, you're not using your head, you're using your heart. So what does it mean, tefillah b'lay kavana? Does it have any value at all?
To make a difference if tefillah is rabbanan or deraisa.
Okay, so I mean, so we'll be mafalbal in it for a few minutes, but like I'm just saying, it's always good for us to what's the pashat of pshat? The pashat of pshat, it has value or it doesn't have value? Yes or no? It has value. What's the value? I mean, so it doesn't have value, but it's a good habit, you're saying. But it doesn't have value in terms of tefillah. You weren't yaitz at tefillah. Why? What do you? So you're forgetting about avodah shebelev. It doesn't have to be anymore. Now it's since the Anshe Knesset Agdol. You know, so
make a difference if the whole tefillah, except for one pasuk, one statement, you have kavanah. The rest is not. Is the whole thing worth it just for that one?
So the Gemara says in Brachas Lamed Dalet, the Gemara says that, and we're going to learn it inside, Chayiv Adam l'chavin b'tfilasai. And if you can't be mechaven b'tfilasai, lefachais be'achas. That's the lashon of the Gemara. At least with one tefillah you should be mechaven. And the Gemara says, "My nihu," I think it's Amar Rabbi Yochanan, ba'avos. So it means to say, like lefachais, you should be mechaven one tefillah, and if you need to choose one, choose the avos. Not like everybody learns that, okay, the avos is ma'akiv. No, if it's too much to be mechaven in 18 brachas or 19 brachas, be mechaven in one. And if you want to know the best one, I would have picked maybe Rafainu or something. But if you want to be mechaven, the best one is the avos. But what do you see from that Gemara? You see from that Gemara that you have to be mechaven ba'achas. Otherwise, there's no chefza shel tefillah. That's what you see. No? You disagree? What you see is l'chol hapachas you have to be mechaven ba'achas. Otherwise, what are you doing? What is a ma'isa koif ba'alma? So l'maisa, I just want to. I don't have any like personal opinions about this, except that I hope it's okay if you don't have to kavanah, because it's often the case. Ugh, I took the wrong one. I'm all wired up. Do you want to get the Torah Chaim Simon Tzaddik test? This one. I took your Torah Yodea. To the right, up to the right. Thank you. Yeah, Orach Chaim Aleph, I think. Tzaddik, Simon Tzaddik. Pressure. There you go. No? Oh boy. Okay. Nicht. Brings a little bit of it here, so I'll just tell you. What? You know where it is?
Not in the right place.
So let's just start before we get to the tour. The last thing in Parak Hey that the Nefesh Hachaim said was Zoyar and Parshas Vayechi. So the Zoyar and Parshas Vayechi, Reish Mem Gimel Seifam Beis, Man de Libe Torah. This is our first Barabaka. We'll just turn it around. Thank you very much. We'll start the other way around. The Zoyar says, important Zoyar, Man de Libe Torah Ubal Letzaloi Tzlusei. Let's say if somebody is tarud, I can't concentrate, that's what tarud means. Ubay letzalo tzlusei, and he wants to daven a tefillah. Ve'iyu ba'akoy, and he's in a tremendous amount of tzara, v'layachol asadr shvacha demare, and he can't be masadr the shvachim of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, kidikayois maihu, kidikayois like you're supposed to. So mahu, what's his din? Or is you want to daven, aber kenish daven, and I'm going through like a huge tsar, and I can't daven. It's not possible for me. It's very interesting. I don't know how much we should be medayik, but l'sader shvachai, like what's l'sader shvachai? Really good. First of all, two things. First of all, you're supposed to be masudar in your tefillah. They didn't necessarily have a siddur in those days. That's a new invention. So the time of the Zoyar, there was no siddur, so you can't be masader shvachim. Like I don't have the cup right now to be masader shvachim. And also, why shvachim? Why does he shtel on the shvachim as opposed to tefillah rachamininu, tefillah davening for your tzarech? So it seems like he's shtelling on two things. Says the Zayar, what should you do? Amar lei, so Reb Shimon Bar Yochai told whoever the shoyel was, Afal gav l'yachol l'chavna liba v'ra'usa. Even though you really can't be machavin your leiv and you can't be machavin your ratzain, siduro shvacha demara, my gar, why shouldn't you say the words of shvachim in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu? It's like what you're saying, right? Elo, says Reb Shimon Bar Yochai, the big makubal, yeah. Elo yisader shvacha demare afal gav l'yachol l'chavna. So it seems what we see here from the Zayar is two things. First of all, there's an Indian of siddur shvachim, and there's an Indian of kavana. So we're talking about a case, afal gav delay, afal gav delay yachil lachavna. We're talking about that he can't be machavin. So forget about kavana. There's no kavana here. Be'ezah siba shatia. Forget about kavana. What can you do? You can read from the siddur, and you can be a masader shvachim. Today it's easier. We don't have to daven about Pesach. You can't concentrate, and sometimes, if you're nervous, you can't put things in their proper order. So you read from the siddur, and you read it. B'li kavana. I'm understanding. There's a lot of unknowns here. What does he mean by kavana? What is it? But that's what the Zayar says, and that's what the Nefesh Hachaim comes to bring us. That nobody, he's probably talking about the Hasidim. Nobody should knock people that are davening without kavana, because that's what you're supposed to do. That's what the Zayar says you're supposed to do. Like it'd say, like you're davening. But so that's the Zayar, and that's the Zayar that Nefesh Hachaim brings.
Question?
Yes.
The Sadeh Shvach is without a siddur. Does that mean that you can say whatever, you can make up a tefillah as you go along? There's no nisaf kavor?
No, it's definitely all talking about Shemoneh Esrei.
It's not leading up to.
No, it's all talking about Shemoneh Esrei.
But it's saying the Sadeh Shvach means a fixed nusach?
So let's look at. I hear the question. Let's just look in the Shulchan Aruch. But before the Shulchan Aruch, the tour, which brings the tours in Siman Sadik Ches. Talking about a Friday night a little bit. Lo yispalel, says the tour. Lo yispalel loy b'makom sheyesh by davar shemevatel kavanasei v'loy b'shah shemevatelas kavanasei. You shouldn't daven lo yispalel if you're in a situation, or if you're in a place, b'makom sheyesh loy davar shemevatel kavanasei. Let's say they're here to drill it out of your head, and you can't daven. So you shouldn't daven in such a situation. V'loy b'shah hamevatelas kavanasei, and not in a time when you can't have kavanah. Different situation. It's not a time now. Not a time. Can't concentrate. So says the Torah, you shouldn't daven in such a situation. Mashma, not just that you should try to daven with kavanah, but it's actually a chasarn. Don't do it. Says the Gemara, and how do I know that? Because the Abba Reb Chia Bar Abba, the Torah, which is why I'm quoting the Torah, not the Shulchan Aruch. The Amar Reb Chaim Bar Abba, because we see the Reb Chaim Bar Abba says, this is a Gemara in Eruvin, Kol she'ein daitoi miyushevas alav al yispalel. If you don't have Yishuv Adas, says the Gemara, Reb Chaim Bar Abba, don't daven. Reb Chanina, these are Amoraim, B'yoyma derosach, loy havim atzli. On the day that he got angry, he didn't daven. What?
That'd be kind of rough.
Yeah. Pirush, says the Torah, make no mistake, B'yoyim shahya koyes loy haya mispalo. I mean, it's pretty easy Aramaic, but he translates it to Hebrew.
Meaning he got angry for a minute and the rest of the day.
That's it. I'm done. Just take medication. There's Reb Chanina. Like, he shouldn't daven. Why should he daven? I daven best when I'm angry. But yeah. Rebbe Eliezer says, Elazar, Amoraim. Haba mina derech. Somebody comes back from a trip, jet lag. Al yispalo toich shloisha yamim. 3 days, don't get near your sitter. Don't daven. Rebbe Eliezer b'noi shel Rabbi Yossi Haglili. It's, by the way, a generation earlier. Oimer af ha-meitzar. Also, if you have a tzara, if you go through a tzara, shouldn't daven for. I mean, we know an oinain doesn't daven, but if you have a tzara, you shouldn't daven. Af ha-meitzar meaning 3 days.
That's the time to daven. It's the sorrow. It's
Yeah, that's when you're a chayiv. That's the chayiv deraisa. I'm reading a Gemara. Shmuel, as in Rav and Shmuel, lehavim matzla bebeisa de ispe shichra. He didn't daven if there was a smell of beer, I think it means, in the house. It ruined his concentration. Mipnei hashareach tordai. Rav lehavim matzla bebeisa de ispe harsana. When it was, harsana means like harus, was in disrepair. Thinking every minute something is going to fall on your head or something. So that's what the Torah brings of this halacha. He brings these 5 different stories of the Amoraim that when they were traveling, they were angry, they did all those things. They traveled, they got angry, they were in a bias ra'ua. All of these cases, says the Gemara, they just didn't daven. Now that's uvda. We're not talking about biblical characters. We're talking about the Amoraim, our Amoraim, that all of halacha comes from them. So what's to do? So it says the Torah, Kasser Meir Mirottenberg, saves the day. Otherwise, we would have nobody in Shul here ever. So Kasser Maram Mirottenberg, what is it? Where have you been? I took a trip last week. It's not a, 3 days. 3 days. Kasser Maram Mirottenberg, ain't anu nizharnata b'chol zeh. It's not for us. She'ein anu mechavnin kol kach b'tzvila. It's like a pella. Maram Rotenberg says, we're not mechaven. So if we're not mechaven, we're not medayik in this. So what's wrong with this picture? You're not. No, we're not mechaven. So get rid of the tefillah. We could say, "Bezbad shabeis habigdosh hayokayim." They used to daven. Today we're so tarud. So, like loyal leino, a Jew is in a concentration camp. He should daven mincha, or he shouldn't daven mincha. You're saying that's the chiyuv deraisa, based tzara, right? But according to the Gemara, no. So the Amoraim didn't daven because it was an eis tzara. Maram Rottenberg says that because of our small madrega, we don't have kavan anyway, so we should daven. Something. I mean, if
the Ramah says, don't repeat your davening if you didn't have.
Exactly.
You're not going to have it again.
We don't do tefillas nadava. Anyway, the bias Bei Harson is a machlekes Rashi, and Rashi says that the house is harus, and the Tosfos says that it smells like rotten fish. Okay, so if we know there's halachas of not davening where there's a reach ra. That's our kavod tefillah. Talk about something which is disturbing me, but I'm just trying to understand the logic here. Our whole tefillah is based on the Merami Rottenberg. What? Because it's gaiva to say that I usually do daven. Let me ask the question the opposite way around. Why didn't these Amoraim daven? What's it worse than the way we daven? In other words, why weren't the Amoraim, Rabbi Chanina, Shmuel, why weren't they soymach on the Merami Rottenberg? Just like Merami Rottenberg said we should daven. It's okay, you're not davening the way you're normally davening. Like with Groisa Kavana, you're not a big Rebbe today, you're Koes, but daven.
If it's like a brisker, if it's not a Chefesh Tefillah, so...
Plus, what is it?
If it requires Kavana Tefillah and we don't have it, so what's the din?
And right, I am asking that. And Nachmer, I mean, it's mashma that it's not just like, okay, you don't have to daven. It's mashma, it's usher that lo yispal, they didn't daven. So what is the Merami Rottenberg's, first of all, so I'm asking the question two ways. First of all, what's the Merami Rottenberg's heter to daven? Because it's such a funny heter. We don't have kavanah. You see, if you would have asked me, Ani Akatan, I would have said, look, probably like Abachi said, in there somewhere you're going to have kavanah for a second. So the second is matter, the I think that's probably true, but that's not what the Rambam says. We don't have a kavanah anymore. So, like in other words, what he's saying is like kavanah is a thing of the past. Yeah, leave the Rambam for a second. Like the Amoraim, they had kavanah. By us, it's not. We're not davening. It sounds like, which is a huge chiddush. We're not davening any longer b'hilchos kavanah. So the whole idea, according to this Merami Rottenberg, which is the only reason why we're davening these days, whoever you are, the only reason that the Torah brings that we should daven these days is because we don't any longer hold of Ezu Avodah Shebelev Zu Tefillah, that Avodah Shebelev is no longer the issue. Needs hasber.
I'm not sure that in time of the Amoraim, it's not clear. We're talking about the Doile Hadur of the Amoraim, but the Amorim of the Amoraim.
We don't know.
Would they say the same thing?
We don't know.
Also, I mean,
isn't that usually? I mean, I'm just usually when the Gemara tells us stories of Amoraim, is to teach us what we should do. And if not for the Merami Rottenberg, that would be the din.
they had a people who whether they daven or not. But the average person without the davening, even if he has no kavanah,
So maybe he shouldn't daven.
But he's working all day and he's not coming to shul at all. So what would be the problem?
What's bothering you? It's not Yiddishkeit like we know it, you mean?
I'm saying, but how would you connect in any way?
I hear. But you're not speaking like a halachic Jew. No.
Could be like a chassan is passing the Krishna, and if he goes ahead and says it anyway, it's Yehoira, because he's asserting that he has kavanah, right? So if you're in the parsha, where you have a havamim that you have kavanah, even though you don't, so that's a chutzpah. But if there's no
not in the parsha.
If you're not in the parsha, so there's no Yehoira anymore.
Mm-hmm. There's there's no Yehoira. It's talking about a chassan who says, I can daven with kavanah, so you shouldn't do it mishum Yehoira. So what are we saying? That we could daven with kavanah anyway. In other words, when Reb Chanina got mad, he got really mad, so he didn't daven with kavanah. We're not so emotional and we're not mad, or something like that. But that's not what he's saying. It's not what the Merami Rottenberg is saying. He says, Mipnei hayoim einanu mechavnen.
So we're not mechavnen, so there's
no... Emes, there's no Yora. Okay, it's not Shaykh Yora, but there's Shaykh that you're not allowed to daven.
So what's the option? The option is not to daven and daven without kavanah. Which says daven without kavanah because you don't have kavanah most of the time anyway. They had kavanah most of the time, so if they had a day or two they didn't have time, they could stop. We never have kavanah, so let's just do something.
Why?
Shalom Lishma.
Why?
Shalom Lishma.
First of all, Shalom Lishma is b'Torah and mitzvahs.
Well, davening is a mitzvah.
Okay. I don't know. I hear. Look, I understand as well as everybody here that, like, obviously we're not going to just stop davening. I understand that, but I'm just
I want to.
what?
What would you do? Someone came to you
Of course, I would go with the Maram Rodenberg, but I'm not. That's the halacha. Oh, why is the question? This is a question. So the Shulchan Aruch, I think I have a shot. Why? I think I'm just saying the same thing I want to say to more lumdisha terms, maybe. But let's just see. The Shulchan Aruch says in Tzadik Ches. The name of the siman is Tzarech Sheyeh Lo Kavana B'Tfilasei. And the Shulchan Aruch says, HaMispal Tzarech Sheyichaben B'Libai, and here he gives us some detail over here. Peirush HaMilos Shemoitzi B'Svasa V'Yachshav Kilu Shchina Kenegdoi V'Yasser Kol HaMachshavos HaTordoi Soisei Ad Shetishar Machshavtei V'Kavanosei Zaka B'Tfilasei. Right? Everybody with me? Right? Peirush HaMilos, you're feeling the Shechina is in front of you. Yasser kol ha-machshavos ha-tordos, I say, you do some form of meditation where you're getting rid of all of the machshavos ha-trudos, tordos, I say, ad shetishar machshavtei v'kavanosei zaka, until your mind is clear. V'yachshav ki'ilu, and at this moment, says the Shulchan Aruch, v'yachshav ki'ilu haya medaber lifnei melech, basar v'dam. You can imagine like you're standing in front of a melech, basar v'dam, haya mesader dvarav v'mechavim b'em yafa, Labal Yikashel. I heard a psak from Rav, what's his name in Los Angeles, the famous Rav, psak recently, Rav, Tasha Rav. It was a big posek, but he said that Bess, or Bess, yes, thank you. So he said if a woman is a nida, so you're allowed to tell her, I love you, because it's not a davar shel chiba any longer. So the person who told me this was a big Talmud Chacham. So I said, does that mean that you should tell somebody else's wife I love you? Of course it's a davar shel chiba. I messed it up. You just say it, bye, I love you. Like, huh? Right. No, what am I trying to bring out? There's kavanah. There's no kavanah and there's no kavanah. You know, am I sitting there and you know, I love you? Maybe not, but there's minhagei chiba that go on, and I'm not sure when a person's davening, if you can accept my mashal, I'm not sure when a person's davening, maybe I don't have kavanah, but I have kavanah. I'm not saying this to the Avodah Zarah, I'm not talking to the wall. I don't have the whole kavanah of the Shulchan Aruch. So apparently it's still shver, because the Amoraim, when they didn't have this spitz kavanah, they didn't daven, which I'd like to be masber. But I'm just saying there is such a it's like a Jewish thing. In other words, to have. I'll tell you another thing. Just indulge me. A joke. It's a joke. There's a fellow who lived on the Upper East Side of Manhattan, and very, very. He adopted the very, very waspy culture and didn't want to have anything to do with Judaism, and he sent his son to a very well-known non-Jewish university, Trinity College. So the kid goes, a secular Jewish family, the kid goes to school and he comes back the first day, and how'd it go? And it says, today we had an orientation, and they're talking about the school and the history of the school and who started the school, and they were explaining to us the Trinity. So the Trinity, I was telling his father, the Trinity is like some kind of a combination between Yashka and the Holy Ghost and the Kadosh Baruch Hu, like a whole. So the father looks at me and says, listen to me, I want to tell you something. There's only one God, and we don't believe in him. It's a Yiddish joke, right? Okay. It's a good joke. So, like the sugya here is, like, what does it mean? Like, kavana, not kavana, like, he's standing in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So listen to this. So it says the Shulchan Aruch tells us all the kavanas you're supposed to have. Kal v'chomer, if you're standing in front of a basar v'dam, as we all know, kal v'chomer v'nei melech malchei amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu shu chayker kol ha'machshavos v'kacha yoisim chasidim v'anshei ma'aseh. Okay, we know you're supposed to have kavana. Then the Shulchan Aruch says in Beis, Lo yispalo b'makom sheyesh davar shemivatel kavanasai v'lo b'shav hamivatel kavanasai, brings the tour, and then he says b'shem maram mirottenberg, says the Shulchan Aruch. The Ramah adds b'shem maram. The Ramah says b'shem maram mirottenberg. Back to Shulchan Aruch. V'achshav, nowadays ein anu nizharim b'chol zeh. What does it mean? We're not zoyer like the Amoraim. There's everything I just read you. Shulchan Aruch says everything I just told you about how you're standing lifnei melech malchei amlachim, how you're yasser b'achshavtei b'libai. Achshav ein anu nizharin b'chol zeh mipnei she'ein anu mechavnin kol kach b'tefillah. So the Ramah adds b'shem miram Rottenberg. Period. That's all the Ramah says. We don't do it. Everything I just told you, delete. So what is he giving here? A history lesson? That's a history lesson. Used to be, we used to daven b'kavana. Nowadays, and if you didn't daven b'kavana, you didn't daven at all. Nowadays, we don't daven b'kavana. So since we don't daven b'kavana, so we shouldn't daven at all. It's like the Ramah b'shem Meram Rottenberg. We should daven anyway. Meram Rottenberg saves the day, and it gives us a matter for everyone to be davening. It's a pella atzuma. So I just want to share a thought with you, and you'll tell me if we're closer to the emes. If you look throughout Chazal, there are always two opinions in Tefillah. I'll give you the most common example, most prominent example. Machlokes in the Gemara, if Tefillah was mesukin by the Avos, Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, Yashkem Baboiker, V'yetze Yitzchak, Lasuach Basad, etc., or was a Keneged Karbanos Tikna. Or maybe it's both. It seems to be the poskim say both. So when you daven Shachris, you're davening because they brought a Korban Tamid Shel Shachar. Or when you daven Shachris, you're davening Shachris because Avram Avinu daven Shachris. He taught us, Avram Avinu, he's our Rav. He gave us, we have these secrets in the Bria, and we know that Shachris is a good time. Avram Avinu zoned in on Shachris time, and Yitzchak on Mincha time. And that's why we daven. So why do we daven? We daven because of the karbanos, or we daven because of... So there's... the Achronim say as follows. It's not a steer one to the other. It's two different things. It's two different things. It might be the Shaila and Gemara, which is the Iker of our davening, but it's two different things. What are the two different things? Avram Avinu and Yitzchak and Yaakov, they zoned into a Zman when a person can express their personal needs or their yearning to be miskarev to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and you can do that at Shachris, and that's a time to do it. It's, let's call it, just for my purposes, bear with me for a moment, it's like a Tfilas Yachid. I don't know if Avram Avinu chapped a minyan in the Shtibelach, and when he davened Shachris, it was a Tfilas Yachid. What Avram Avinu was doing, and what he taught the Ummah HaYisraelis, is that a Jew could daven, but we know secrets that people don't know. You could always daven, but there are secrets that we know that nobody else knows because we came from Avram Avinu, and that is that Shachris is a particular time, and that there's a particular way to daven in Shachris. And so many psukim the Gemara brings about the kavanas of Shachris, Kishahayra Mizrach, and Shachris means even by Netzachama, etc. Netzachama. There's another inyan of tefillah, and that is that you're saying something like this, I'm just trying to give it more of a tzura, that tefillah keneged korbanos, that Chazal were masaken that in the Beis HaMikdash there was a Tamid Shel Shachar and there was a Tamid Shel Ben Harabayim. And according to one opinion in the Gemara, by the way, there's no Tashlumin for Marv because there was no Tamid in Marv. So what is that? That's not an Indian of course it comes from Avram Avinu that there was a Zman Masugel for Tefillah, but that was something else. That was a tekes that Chazal said when they made the Beis HaMikdash, the Nevi'im said that when we made the Beis HaMikdash, there should be a tekes of a Zman where everybody is coming together and saying the Shvachei HaKadosh Baruch Hu was a tekes. Korbanos. So, like the mashal I gave, lahavdil elef havdalis, but how do you give a mashal to HaKadosh Baruch Hu? But since the Shulchan Aruch says ki melech basar v'dam, it's like a melech basar v'dam. The President of the United States walks in, or the Queen of England walks in, and they sing, God Save the Queen. The whole choir and the trumpets and the whole thing. Nobody's asking them if they did it b'kavana or not b'kavana. It's a tekes. It's a tekes of malchus that takes place when the Queen comes in the room. That's the halacha. You have kavana, you don't have kavana, and you have your fingers crossed behind you. You say, I really hate the Queen, but it doesn't make any difference. You hate Trump. It doesn't make any difference. There's an office of the president. There's an office of the king. A protocol. And is protocol the right word for a tekes? But I was like, this is in order for Judaism as a religion to exist, there has to be this type of a formal protocol which has to take place. And of course you should have kavana. That would be a gavaldik thing to kavana, but more important, you have a good voice that you have kavana when you're joining that kind of a tekes. So forgive me for using secular words, but it seems to me that one of them is prayer and one of them is a ritual. Meaning, a tefillah, a prayer, is something which is avoida shebelev, chayev. And that's what you're supposed to be doing when you have tefillah. There's another thing you're supposed to be doing when you have tefillah, is be part of the ceremony, part of the tekes, part of the protocol of Yiddishkeit. How do you do that? You come to shul. So it's very possible, I'm going out on a limb here a little bit, that Rabbi Chalila and the B'nai Shal Rabbi Yossi Aglili, of course they came to shul and they did all, where's Rabbi Yossi Aglili? He got angry today. Not Mustavra. It's not Mustavra. It can't be that that's the pshat. The pshat is, of course, they came to shul. But when they were talking about, is this the time? Of course, they were part of the tekes. You have to be. That's a din. But is this the time for me to express my lave, my deepest emotions in oistbeten by HaKadosh Baruch Hu? No. It's not the right time because I'm being ma'arev with my tefillah, my personal tefillah. Hayachid, hayachid doesn't mean you're biyachid. I'm saying it's my own personal tefillah. It's not the right thing because it's all farbished. And lo kazeh ba'im lifnei hamelech. So there's like two dinim. In like the language of Rav Soloveitchik, alav shalom, just mazkir. There's tefillah hayachid, there's tefillah hatzibur, and there's tefillah bitzibur. Three things, not two things. Sometimes the Rambam says lashon tefillah is hatzibur. Sometimes it says lashon tefillah bitzibur. Tefillah bitzibur is a school for my tefillahs to be miskabel. Tefillah's hatzibur is this is what a Jewish tzibur does. You want to have a Jewish community, you got to be part of it in shul. You have to have batei knesios, you have to have batei midrashos, and you have to have mekoimos miuchados l'tefillah, beis hakneses. People come together and you blow those trumpets. So I'm thinking that when the Marat Rottenberg comes along and he says, like this is not, in other words, this Indian of if I could have kavanah, I couldn't have kavanah. We're not maybe this is what the Marat Rottenberg says. I don't know how to look it up inside, but maybe what the Marat Rottenberg says is that Ela Chalabi, like you can't do point A of tefillah, like the tefillah's hayachid, which you're doing by tzibur, But that's not our purpose any longer, kibbutz. In other words, if you can daven like that, because it's hate. But that's not our purpose in davening. We're into Plan B, and Plan B is, of course, we should daven because Jews should daven. Okay, ayid gate and shul davening. That's the way it is, and that's tefillas hatzibur. That's what keeps Klal Yisrael going. I just, for instance, there's so many examples of this, but in other words, Kriyas HaTorah, Chovos HaTzibur, we keep learning. There's certain Chovos HaTzibur. It's a Chov HaTzibur. It's not about every Yachid has to hear Kriyas HaTorah. It's how the Achronim take on it. It's a Chovos HaTzibur. But I was thinking that this morning that Yom Kippur is another strange one, yeah? Because Yom Kippur, the Mishnah says that Yom Kippur, Yitzu B'Shal Yom B'Chaper. Etzem Yom Kippur is Mechaper. Unfortunately, Tosfos brings from Chazal that that's only if you're celebrating Yom Kippur. That's about Yitzubah Shel Yom B'Chaber. I say, unfortunately, it's not like there's this amnesty and everybody, even if you don't know it's Yom Kippur. But yeah, if you know it's Yom Kippur and you're fasting and you're doing the Chamishei Nuyim, and you're going to shul, so you're celebrating Yom Kippur, yes or no? You're celebrating Yom Kippur, yes? So if you're celebrating Yom Kippur, so Itzu B'Shel Yom B'Chaper. What about the guy, or like all of us, that are sitting there the whole Yom Kippur is like, the day is going by, and I'm not having the right kavanah, and what's going to be, and it's going to mess up my whole year, and what am I going to do? Emes, the kavanah on Yom Kippur is unbelievable, the amount that you could accomplish with kavanah, but that doesn't affect the Itzu B'Shel Yom B'Chaper. I'm celebrating Yom Kippur like a frum yid, like my father did, like my grandfather did, my great-grandfather did, and my Kadosh Baruch Hu says, okay, I'm blowing the trumpet for HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and Rosh Hashanah I'm blowing the shofar for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So I'm not excusing the kavanah. That's not my intention here at all. What I'm simply saying is that the Maram Rottenberg, it seems to me, and if you think about it, the Maram Rottenberg, the Maram Rottenberg was saying that l'chayra, there's two dinim in tefillah, and we're not as makbid on the first din any longer because we don't have that necessarily sensitivity of the soul as we are in the second din, and that also is l'toyelas gamor. So to bring this all the way around, what does the Zayar say? The Zayar says, this is what you hear. This is again, listen to Lashon Nefesh Hachaim. I'm reading it in Hebrew. Mishalibai Tarud, as opposed to Aramaic. Mishalibai Tarud v'raitza lispalot tfilasai oishu b'tzara v'eni yochal sader shvacha shladonei k'moshet tzarech mahu. What's the din? I can't daven with the right kind of kavanah. Amar Lai, said Rav Shimon Bar Yochai, Afal pi she'eni yochal l'chavin es halei v'harotzain. Seder, you can't have kavanah, but Seder shvacha shel Rebbeinu Shalom lama yigara. But why shouldn't you get involved, participate in the tekes? You're having a bad day, we understand. You're not the one to have the kavanah. You look like the Mishnah Berurah says, or the Shulchan Aruch says in Hilchos Rosh Hashanah, who should daven for the Yamud? So it should be somebody who's Kollel Yarev and Mekubal Al Tzibur, is Kanai Begudol. It's a tzura of tefillah. It's a tzura of tefillah. We're not even looking so much for the one that has the. It says it should be Yer Shamayim. We're not necessarily looking for the biggest Yer Shamayim. Look. Huh?
This must be the Shimon Bar Yochai after he came out the key the second time.
A little more relaxed, maybe. So no, but in the Zayar Gufa you have these two dinim. That's the kuda. You have two dinim in the Zayar. Reb Shimon Bar Yochai. You have the din of kavanah and the din of lama yigara seder shvacha shel ribono lama yigara ela yisader shvacha shel ribono afal pi she'eni yochal l'chavin. Well, look. So when the Gemara is telling us all the Amoraim didn't daven, it means they didn't daven part A, not holding by davening. When the Shulchan Aruch says you should daven anyway, you say, but don't forget about part B of Tfilas Hatzibur. That's the correct thing to do, and it also helps. I got
When you say a similar idea, we had a whole tumult, right? We learned it's like davening without kavanah.
Okay, but the whole Indian of Talmud Torah is to understand. Well, but by tefillah, there's part of it which is, let's go back to the original kasha here. Part of it is you're missing the chefts of tefillah. There's no lave, there's no tefillah. What'd you do? What'd you do? You did nothing. So the answer is, enachanami. You did nothing, and the Nevi'im said, Lama li roiv zivchechem, which, by the way, they were not talking about, look inside, they were not talking about karbonas hatzibur. They were talking about karbonas hayachid. That's what Yeshayahu was talking about. We talking about people who were bringing all their karbonas. So like, Lama li roiv zivchechem is tefillas hayachid. What do you drag a cup for? The tekes of tefillah, the tefillah is keneged avos tiknum. In other words, it could be that they were zeroed into the kavanas of tefillah. It could be that we taka can't do any longer. But the aspect of tefillah which is keneged karbanos tiknum, tamid shel shachar, that nobody says you shouldn't do it if you don't have kavanah. That's the tzura of Klal Yisrael, and that in itself helps. Agav, I just wanted to end with this. The Reb Tzadok is Masber, brings many rayas, the Resisei Loila, brings many rayas that if you're davening with a tzibur, if there's even one person who has kavanah in one thing, that he grabs the whole tzibur's tefillahs up with him and takes it up. And then he says, it was beautiful lashon of Reb Tzadok. He says, "V'yesh chiddush yoser gadol mizeh." He says that if you're at a tzibur, he's talking about the union of Kirvei Makom L'Tfilah, so you daven in the same place on a regular basis instead of running around looking for a minyan, which is wrong. It's the wrong thing to do. But this place, that place. But by the way, all the Zmanei Tefillah has to do with the karbonos. The Zmanei Tefillah don't have to do with the avos. I don't know if Avraham Avinu was like looking at his watch and said, "Okay, 8:22 is Man Kriya Shema." It's not low nearly, but the karbonos had Zmanim. So the whole Indian of Zman Tefillah comes from karbonos. But anyways, Reb Tzadok says that if you're davening in a place where nobody has kavanah, and they haven't had kavanah there for years. Can you imagine such a thing? 100 years, nobody had kavanah in this shul. And then one person comes along, says Reb Tzadok, and he davens in that makom b'kavanah. So now all those tefillos were shaloi b'kavanah, they're in a holding pattern. They don't get lost. And that one person is taking all those tefillos up to Shemayim. Reb Tzadok.
Ashab said he couldn't go into a show once because it was too crowded to feel it was anywhere. Yeah.
But he doesn't say that one could unlock everything. That's what Reb Tzadok says. As Reb Tzadok says, the one person's tefillah opens up like, imagine the way I'm understanding is like open up this Pesach and Shemayim, and whoop, everything goes up. Not just for you, but for those people. Not just for those people, but for you. Like all of a sudden, so you go to, let's say you'll go to Warsaw, into the shul of the Rabbah. Maybe you could open up and get who knows what 1,000 years of tefillahs in there. You could. Okay.